There comes a point in every real artist's life where music stops being just sound and start becoming something deeper, something that matters. For TomPetty, that shift happened with a six-string in his hands. To him, the guitar wasn't just an instrument. It was sacred. It was a way of speaking, of reaching people without saying a word. Every note had to come from somewhere real, from heartbreak, from joy, from somewhere human. So when someone misused the guitar, when they turned it into a flashy toy, or buried it in layers of effects and ego, Tom didn't just dislike it. He felt like something was being lost, something important. He once said, "I play guitar to serve the song." Some of these guys, they play songs to serve the guitar solo. For Petty, music was never about who could play the fastest or the loudest. It was about honesty, simplicity, soul. And when other players turned the stage into a competition or a circus or a tech demo, he took it personally. So today we're going to talk about 6 guitarists TomPetty reportedly couldn't stand. Not because they weren't talented, but because in his eyes, they forgot the thing that made music matter in the first place. Eddie Van Halen. Let's start with the most obvious one. Eddie Van Halen, an absolute force. His finger tapping, his speed, his wild stage energy, he changed the game. Millions of people looked up to him like a rock god. But TomPetty, he saw something else. He saw chaos. He saw distraction. He saw noise dressed up as brilliance. One day, in rehearsal, Petty turned to his band and said, "Eddie can play 1,000 notes a minute, but can he play one that matters?" That was the heart of it for him. Eddie's solos, no matter how brilliant, felt like they swallowed the music whole. There was no room left to breathe, no space for emotion. It was like watching fireworks explode over a quiet love letter. At festivals, when Van Halen hit the stage, Petty would roll his eyes. Later, when someone asked what he thought, he just said, "That's not a band. That's a circus act with amplifiers." Petty didn't hate Eddie, but he hated what he symbolized. Guitar playing is spectacle, not storytelling. Yngwie Malmsteen. If Eddie was over the top, Yngwie Malmsteen was a full-blown storm. Blinding speed, neoclassical shredding. So many notes you couldn't count them if you tried. Petty? He couldn't stand it. He plays like music is a competitive sport, he once said. But music isn't a race. It's a connection. There was a festival in Europe, late 80s. Yngwie was warming up backstage, and the sound was rattling the walls. Petty turned to his manager and said, "Sounds like someone's strangling a cat that swallowed a calculator." He didn't deny Yngwie's talent, but to him, it was like staring at an incredibly detailed painting that meant absolutely nothing. "I want to play one note that makes someone cry," he'd say. He wants to play 100 that make people dizzy. Slash. Now, this one might surprise you. Slash, with his iconic top hat, cigarette, Gibson Les Paul. He was the image of rock and roll rebellion. To most people, he looked like someone Petty would admire. But not quite. Petty saw it differently. The hat, the cigarette, the Les Paul, it's costume design, he told a friend. Selling rebellion without earning it. Tom had come up through dive bars and broken down clubs. You got grit the hard way. And to him, Slash didn't feel like the real thing. He felt packaged. One time, a fan compared Petty's guitar tone to Slash's. He snapped back, "I'm selling songs." He's selling Halloween costumes. He didn't doubt Slash could play, but he questioned the heart behind it. For Tom, every note had to bleed with something real. Struggle, hope, pain, truth. Not just leather jackets and power chords. Kirk Hammett. Then there was Kirk Hammett, Metallica's lead guitarist. Fast, loud, angry, distorted. A wall of sound, basically. And to Tom, just noise. "It's impressive the way a jackhammer is impressive," he reportedly said. But would you want to listen to a jackhammer for fun? He thought Kirk's solos bulldozed over the music. Too much wah, too much volume, not enough subtlety. After seeing Metallica live, he turned to his drummer and said, "That's not playing. That's shouting." And TomPetty hated shouting. He believed music was conversation, not confrontation. Joe Satriani. Joe Satriani is considered one of the greatest technical players alive. Flawless tone, beautiful phrasing. He could probably play guitar in his sleep. But to Petty, that was exactly the problem. "That's just one guy talking and talking and talking," he said, "and never saying a damn thing." Satriani's music left him cold. It was too perfect, too polished. There was no grit, no dirt, no mess. And to Petty, that meant no soul. He even walked out of an awards show once, muttering, "This is what happens when guitarists forget why they started." After hearing Surfing with the Alien for the first time, Petty sighed and said, "That's a comic book. I'm trying to write a novel." The Edge. And finally, The Edge. No flashy solos. No pyrotechnics. Just clean, shimmering chords soaked in delay and reverb. And yet, this one bothered Tom more than almost any other. Without the pedal board, he said, he wouldn't even be recognizable. That's not guitar playing. That's programming. He felt the Edge's playing was more about gear than guts. About architecture, not emotion. He even called U2's sound scaffolding. It wasn't personal. It was philosophical. Petty believed the imperfections were the point. Missed notes, dirty strings, a human touch. And to him, the Edge just felt too clean, too calculated, too safe. Tom Petty didn't hate these men as people, but he hated what they stood for, a version of rock music that was becoming more about technique, image, and gear, and less about truth. He was never interested in being the fastest, the loudest, or the slickest. He wanted to be the truest. He believed that one guitar, one amp, one honest lyric, and one real emotion were still enough. He once said, "You don't need to set the world on fire. Just light one candle." And that's what he did. Every song, every stage, every note, one candle at a time. No gimmicks, just heart. If this video hit the right note, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into the untold stories of rock, rebellion, and raw artistry. Thanks for watching.